It was December 2007. I was in graduate school getting my master's degree, and I was sitting somewhere in this crowd. And that's when I heard a message that would change my entire life.
The black community is coming out of Babylon. Beloved, the black community in this hour is in Babylon with all her wealth, with all of her comfort. And in this hour, the word of the Lord is this: come out of her, come out of her, come out of her.
And all of a sudden, in a room filled with 20,000 young adults, it felt like the bullseye was on me. I was at the One Thing conference, and the Lord spoke to me really clearly that it was time to move. I had been coming here for the past 3 or 4 years, and then the Lord spoke to me at the One Thing conference and said it was time. And so I had to go home, pack up everything. I had like 3 days to get out here. And I moved, in 2008 to do the internship. It was the One Thing internship, and Wes Martin was my director at that time.
Let your kingdom come, 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 let your kingdom come. Dominion belongs to the only one found worthy. Ruler of the earth, we prepare your return. Take me, break me, till Christ is revealed in me. Mold me, shape me, till your likeness is seen in me. No longer I, but it's Christ that be living in me. Take this vessel, only Christ is what's left in me. Purge me with fire, consume all my desires till sin has expired. Your kingdom remaining only when the glory is retired. Let your kingdom come, 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 let your kingdom.
During the internship, we just had phenomenal teaching. The worship was amazing, and the Lord began to just rearrange my thoughts and rearrange my emotions and the ways that I thought about Him, the way I thought He felt about me, and my life got turned upside down. And it was in that context that I decided this is actually a legitimate thing to give my time to. I found this love for prayer and intercession in my heart, and this love for the Word that I didn't know even existed. And so I ended up staying after my internship and getting involved with the internship myself. Became a leader, a core leader with the internship, and I did 5 of those in a row. I remember my very first internship was in 2009. And I finished in 2011, and I absolutely loved working with the young adults. I loved working with these girls and watching them have the same testimony as me, that their eyes would get big and they would see that God likes me, God is for me, and I'm a part of this huge story I didn't know I was a part of. And I got really, really hooked to that, seeing that time and time again. In about 2011, 2010, 2011, the Lord began to turn my heart towards the black community. I had been praying for them since 2008, since my internship, every Thursday night, 8 p.m., praying for the black community, praying and praying and praying and praying. And something happened in my heart, and I didn't even realize it. My heart turned towards this crisis facing black young adults, and I couldn't shake it. And it was in 2011, I watched a young man give a testimony about how he had never known his father. And he was talking about how he had encountered the Father in the Word, and in the prayer room someone was singing something about the Father, and this young man was crying and going on and on about how he has a Father in heaven. And I began to weep. I began to think of all of these black young adults who would never come to Kansas City, and they could have the very same testimony if they had a context for prayer and worship, if they had someone giving them the scriptures. And so the Lord told me to step down from the internship and to focus on black college campuses. And so from then on, I started doing ministry trips to these campuses and would talk to the students about Jesus, and they would look at me, some of them like I was crazy, like they had never heard what I was talking about. And this one story, I met a guy, his name was Devin, and I got a word of knowledge about him and some of his family members. And when I was finished giving him this word, he goes, "Can you please spread this message all over my campus?" And I looked at him and I was like, "You guys don't have a campus ministry on your campus?" And he said, "No, we have gospel choir every 3rd Thursday of the month." And it shocked me that that was their context for Christianity on their campus, and I was done for. So it's been about like a 5-year journey of carrying this burden for the black community and carrying this passion for young adults to touch Jesus and talk about it. And so it's been crazy to see how the Lord's brought the whole thing together and all the way around to where 5 years later, my very prayers for the Black community, I'm getting to walk out the answer to them by doing campus ministry.